What's up guys, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another tutorial. In today's video I'm going to show you step by step how I got this look from start to finish. It is a very nice on trend fall vampy, whatever you want to call it, look. I live for halo eyes, so that's what I went with today. The look is really simple. You can use what you have. I do have this really dark vampy shade of lip on and I am obsessed with it. But before we get into the video, if you have not already subscribed, please do so down below. The subscribe button is right here. I'm gonna have a big arrow to wherever it is on the screen. I'm gonna hop into the video, and as always, all of the products are listed down below in the description box with links. I do take a lot of time after, you know, editing and uploading to make sure the description box has links to every single thing that I've used. So everything will be listed down below if you want to go ahead and check that out. All of my social medias as well. But yeah, so that's all I have to say for right now. Let's hop on into the video. Alright, so to start off, I'm gonna take my Jaclyn Hill palette, and this is the main palette that I'm gonna use for this look today. I did incorporate the Sephora Pro editorial palette, as well as the Desi and Katie Joseph Color collab, the girls palette, which looks like this. I'm first gonna go in with this shade right over here, and I don't have the sheet that has all the names on it, so forgive me, but this is the shade that I'm going to use for my transition shade, and this is going to go right above my crease, just like so, right above. And this is going to give me that really good gradient for laying down all the rest of my colors. And I'm kind of putting it like in this kind of shape, like kind of going out like this. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. But I'm just kind of like bringing it here and right here. So it's kind of like we're carving out almost a higher crease, because my natural crease would be right in this area right here. So I'm going just above and putting that color in right there. Now I'm gonna go in with my Jaclyn Hill palette once again, and I'm gonna use this more like yellowy shade right over here in this first row. So it's the second color down. And I'm gonna take a smaller brush, the Morphe 507, and it just looks like this. I actually really love this brush because I have a smaller workspace on my eyelids. So if you have hooded eyes or just like small you know, eyelid space in general, this is a good brush for you to blend anything. I love this brush. But I'm just gonna take this and put it a little lower than the color that we just used. The other color that we use is right above, and this is just right below. Alright, so now I'm just gonna take my previous brush that we put that first color down with, and I'm just gonna take it and just lightly blend these two together. I'm not adding any more product or anything like that, just blending these two. I feel like this color is Pukey if I'm not mistaken, but it's the one that's right next to that really bright orange. So I'm gonna take this color right here, and I'm gonna go in and just place that on the inner and outer corners and blend it into the crease a little. I'm literally just gonna lay it down like this. When you're laying this color down, make sure you don't go super far into this middle part of your eye. And again, just taking that first brush and just blending ever so gently. Now going in with that really bright orange shade that is next to the Pukey color that we just used, we're gonna pick that up with yet another brush, and we are gonna concentrate that more on the inner and outer and right in the crease as well. You really wanna focus on packing this on into the inner and outer corner, not necessarily in the crease area. We are going to clean that up like I said previously, but you definitely want the most color payoff in this part of your eye, because it's going to give you that really nice contrast when you put that middle shade on. And as you can see, when I'm bringing the color into my crease, I'm literally just sweeping my brush back and forth and just using whatever product I already have on my eye. That kind of helps not to put too much color down, and again, it will help you with the blending process because it's a lot easier to add color than it is to take away. So you definitely want to just pack the color where you need to in the inner and outer corners, and then just connect them by sweeping that brush back and forth, not picking up anything else. It's always good to keep a brush on hand just to go in and blend everything together seamlessly. It is, you know, smart to blend as you go, but you don't want to keep using the same brushes that you have used to put different colors on your eyes, because that again is going to make your eyeshadows muddy. So just keeping like a cleaner brush on hand and at the ready for when you are ready to just blend everything together is helpful. So now what I did, this is where my Sephora palette is going to come into play, and I'm going to take a really small brush. This is the Morphe M213 and it looks like this. And I wanted to brighten up that orange shade a little bit. I'm gonna take this really neon orange shade right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. It is right there, and I'm gonna pack that on top of the color that we placed in the inner and outer corner just now, because that's gonna make it a little bit more of the orange color that I want. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm literally just gonna stamp it right on top. And I'm just gonna take my brush and go like this and kind of sweep that color towards the center of our eye, and that's gonna help us with the blending process a little later on. All right, now I'm gonna pick up the previous brush that we used that one darker color in the Jaclyn Hill palette with, and just pick up like the tiniest bit more and blend that with that orange shade that we just put down. It's all about like layering the colors together. That's what's gonna give you the best results. Alright, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is in the color Light Neutral, and this is what I'm going to use under my eyes in just a little bit. But I'm going to take a very small brush. This is Morphe M508. If you guys have not already noticed, I like very small brushes. But this looks just like this, and this is what I usually use to carve out my eyebrows and then do my cut creases. I do like how small it is, and it's very a little dense, but it also is still a little bit flexible, so you can kind of work with it. But I'm gonna use these two products to just kind of give myself a little bit of a contrast in the middle of my eye. At this point is usually when I like to define the top of it, just because I like that contrast. If you see here, it looks like it's a little darker right at the top of, you know, that crease line that we created. So I like to go in with a really small detail brush and kind of just go over that line a little bit, because it's gonna make a nice contrast with, you know, the dark color that's right there and, you know, the shimmery shade that we put in the middle of the eye. So I'm gonna take my Jaclyn Hill palette yet again, and I'm gonna take the color that's right underneath that orange shade that we used. So this is what we used last, and this is the shade that I'm about to go in with right now. And the brush that I'm gonna use is the Morphe M515, and I'm literally just going to do this. Gently outline that shape. I'm gonna go back with my M213 brush that we use that neon color from the Sephora palette with, and I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of that color and add it yet again right at the edges. Doing this step is kind of gonna cover up the concealer line that you get when you do cut your crease. This is gonna blend it a little bit better. Next up, I'm gonna use my Desi X Katie The Girls shadow palette, and I'm gonna pick up the color Suze, which is this really beautiful like champagne-y color right here. And I'm gonna wet my finger because this is one of the colors that they recommend you using a wet finger or wet brush with. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of water on my finger. Spray. You can use water, you can use setting spray, you can use Fix Plus, you can use whatever you want, but I am just using old-fashioned water because it's free. And I'll just tap my finger into the color and gently just gonna place this color right into the very center of the eye where we have, you know, that blank area. And now I get it as close as possible to that line that we created for our cut crease, and then I just go in with a smaller brush and kind of blend so that it doesn't go everywhere. I don't like it to come up past the line that I created, so if I'm using my finger obviously and I tap in that area, it's definitely going to go into the crease where I don't want it. So I just want to take a smaller brush and kind of pat the rest of that shadow into the areas that we need to fill in still to cover up that concealer. And now I'm going to take my previous brush and go in with that Sephora palette color and just sweep it again right at the edges. Alright, so now at this point, once you have the edges all blended together, you can take a wipe and just kind of wipe up your under eye and get rid of all of that pigment that may have fell down. Now for liner, I'm going to use the Tarteist Aubergine gel liner, and it looks like this. They do have the more full size, but this is a travel version. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand here and work with a liner brush. And the brush that I'm going to be using today is the Morphe M250-0, and it just looks like this. Now that we have the liner on, I'm just going to go ahead and clean up this extra shadow that we have on the outer corner, and I'm just going to use a wipe just to gently kind of clean that up. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and do my foundation and concealer. You guys have seen people on YouTube do foundation and concealer countless times, so I don't think it's very necessary for you guys to see that. So I'm going to be right back. Alright, so now that we are back and looking better than ever, I'm going to go ahead and use my Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, and it just looks like this. I did use this in the last video. If you have not seen it, I will link it, I think right up here somewhere, and click the eye. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of bronze up the face just a little bit. Alright, so moving on to blush, I'm going to take my little Sephora blush palette. It looks just like this. And it's really nice, especially if you are a working makeup artist, because it does have various different colors in here, different tones. You do have a shimmer one right here. You can use that as like a blush topper. But I think today I'm going to use, I'll use a mix of these two. And I'm just going to take my little blush brush. This is the Morphe E4 brush, and just kind of dab right into the two. And now going in with my Laura Mercier powder. This is my translucent powder. I'm going to take my beauty blender and just whatever is in the cap at the moment, I'm just going to take the tip of my beauty blender and kind of cut my cheeks. So do one of these. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my nose contour. I'm just going to bring I need my mirror for this. I'm going to bring the tip of my sponge. I sometimes do like to squeeze my sponge together a little bit to give it more of an edge, and just bring it right along my nose contour, because that's going to make where you place your contour be a little bit more defined. I'm just gonna let that sit for a little while. I'm gonna finish up my under eyes in the meantime. So I'm gonna go back in with my Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna use the same sequence of colors. We're gonna start off with this, and I'm just gonna take that same brush that we used initially, Old Faithful, and I'm gonna sweep that right underneath. And this is just gonna serve as, once again, our transition color. Now moving on, I'm going to pick up this color right here and just do the same thing, but now with a smaller brush like how we used earlier, just because I want it to be a little bit more precise in placement. And it's up to you how intense you want these colors to be. You just build it up to your liking. I think I am good right about here. I'm going to move on to that pukey color, which was this one right here in the palette, and I'm just going to put a little bit under the eye. Now this and the previous shade together almost kind of look the same, so I'm not going to spend too much time adding this. I'm just going to go in with this shade right here and put it a little closer to the lash line. Now I'm going to use the last shade that we used in the Jaclyn Hill palette, which was this one right here. And I'm going to use the same brush that we just used to add that little bit of extra color onto the lash line. Alright, I'm going to take this color right here, which is the second little champagne shade in the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going to put that in my inner corner. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the extra powder that we have just chilling on our face right now, because I don't want it to set too much. So I'm going to go ahead and just do one of these and wipe this away. Make sure when you're wiping powder off, you're not like wiping it super viciously, because then that's gonna move any product you may have underneath. You just wanna take a dual fiber brush like I have, or any soft brush, and just kind of gently sweep everything off. Now I'm gonna go through and tightline my lash line up at the top with a black liner. I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some mascara and lashes, and I will be right back. Alright, so I am back. Lashes are on. The lashes that I used for today's look are the Lily lashes in the style Mykonos. I love Lily lashes so much. In my waterline, I did use a white liner. This is the NYX Faux White in the color Seashell. It does have a little bit of a pink tint to it, but I think it kind of goes with the look a little bit. So right now I think I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face down. I'm gonna use my Skindinavia makeup finishing spray. It just looks like this, and I'm gonna get rid of all of this powderiness. I'm gonna go in with some highlight. I'm gonna use my Ofra Rodeo Drive. I'm gonna use my trusty Morphe M505 brush. This is usually what I use to highlight my face. And I'm just gonna go in while my face is still a little bit wet and hit the tops of my cheeks here. I'm gonna put my lips on. So for today, I'm gonna use the ColourPop slash I Love Sarai lip pencil in the color Mamacita, and this is what I'm gonna use to line my lips. And for lipstick, I'm gonna take the Desi X Katie Dose of Colors collab in the shade Sauvage, and this is just the darker lip shade that they came out with. Looks like this. Alright guys, so this is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already. The subscribe button is right over here. You're already this far in the video, you might as well hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's help each other out here. But yeah, so that's all I have to say for now. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!